show for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio for the masses. Yeah. How you doing? Today's Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. $252 days into the new year. Only 123 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of nowhere. A total undisclosed location, but it is beautiful. Got a new ceiling in. Yeah, the echo is gone. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet Race Hobbs. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking? Oh, I don't know who's running the show tonight. I don't know if it's Race or Bill. Either way, KGRA. Tonight, very excited about tonight's show. Very special guest, Dr. Matthew Johnson, joins us for the first time. We are going to discuss the Bigfoot reality. He's got a lot of books out, and I've read one, and it changed me. And we're going to discuss all of that tonight on the show. We do have a little programming announcement tonight. So we've got a bunch of images that Dr. Johnson has sent me. Those will be presented live during the show for discussion on Twitter. So if you are listening and you are on another format or you're watching the video or whatever, if you want to see what we are talking about tonight, go to hashtag F2B, go to our Twitter feed, The Sandbox. All right, hashtag F2B for that. And we've also got some audio clips tonight that we will be playing and discussing. So get ready for that. That will be in the show, okay? But the images, hashtag F2B, head right over to Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. This is a big show tonight. I'm very excited about this. Dr. Johnson, Matthew, doesn't do shows. Not that often, and this is a very special broadcast tonight, and just get ready. And I am nearly positive this is the first of many with Dr. Matthew Johnson. So many things, so many facets to his research, and we'll be discussing all of that tonight. And just like every first-time guest, when we have a first-time guest on the show, we have to compress a lot of information in a very short time. On a future broadcast, we'll be able to take one of these subjects tonight that we'll be discussing and do the deep dive. And I've done enough shows now to know that that is pretty much how it goes. We get the first show out of the way, we get our feet wet, and then we head off and do future broadcast. Okay, so, and start to pick things apart. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Okay, so get ready for that. Dr. Matthew Johnson will be with us at the bottom of the hour. Now, I posted up today in Facebook, or maybe it was yesterday, but coming up this Saturday is the premiere of Extraordinary, The Revelations at the Pasadena International Film Festival. I've got the links for the festival. If you're a fade or not, you're in Southern California, you've got to come out. You've got to come out and check this film out and support the film. And come in and hang out. I'll be there. The entire production team is gathering from around the world in Pasadena. And also after the showing, there'll be a Q&A. And I'm very excited about this. And I've had a few friends reach out to me, old friends, that are going to be coming to hang out with us. And I'm so excited about that. And if they're listening, they know who they are. And I just can't, I cannot wait. It's going to be a great time. So that is this week. Tomorrow night is Fader night, of course, with open lines all night long. And then we'll circle back after this very busy weekend. And on Monday, another week of Fade to Black. And then next weekend, not this weekend, today is already Wednesday, right? Okay, so next weekend, September 17th through the 19th, I will be hosting the Conscious Life Expo at the LAX Hilton. This is an in-person event. Get your tickets and info right now at consciouslifeexpo.com. Use the promo code Jimmy, and that's in person. There is also streaming. This is 2 cities in one, 2 countries in one. There's Los Angeles and London. Okay, so I'll be hosting out here live. It's going to be great. We'll have the Fade to Black booth. And then if you're watching this on streaming, I know I'm going to do the same thing. As soon as we're done here in LA, boom, hands off to London, and the conference continues. A very, very cool format for the Conscious Life Expo. Okay, so there is that, consciouslifeexpo.com. And then later on this month, I will be heading out to Laughlin, Nevada to ride in the Get the Tea trophy truck. That's right, our sponsor, Ronnie McMullen and Get the Tea, getthetea.com. I'm heading out to Laughlin, and I'll be out there for the weekend. It's going to be a fun, busy month this month in September. We've got a lot of things that we're going to be announcing. The first one, which is happening now, which is the film Extraordinary, The Revelations. There is another film that was just completed too as well. I've talked about it with Richard Dolan and Whitley Strieber and William Henry and Linda Moulton Howe posted pictures of that because they were part of the filming. They're part of the film, but we posted some of the pictures from the locations. That film is going to be released in November, and that will have its worldwide premiere. That is on November 11th, 11/11. And then Extraordinary, The Revelations, even though it's premiering at the Pasadena Film Festival, that is going to do its worldwide premiere on Amazon at the end of November. I think it's November 28th. I could have that wrong, but right in there. I know that I've been told the date. Don't hold me to it. But it'll be up in social media when that premiere happens. And we are close to finishing an announcement about a new TV series. Okay? And I'm going to say this. The name, the idea, the production, the thing, the location, and all of that, all of the details are worked out. And I'm very excited about this. We're just in a little bit of a quiet period. It's called contracts, which are done. And as soon as, that little details, about my dressing room and the trailer and all the things that I need, right? Espresso machine, that kind of stuff. So once those details get worked out, that announcement is going to happen, and hopefully, it won't be this week because today's already Wednesday, but maybe next week, that announcement is going to happen. Very excited about this too as well. Okay. All right. There you go. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow me right there at JChurchRadio. The Sandbox, of course, is hashtag F2B on Twitter. Tonight, the images we will be discussing will be posted up in the Sandbox at hashtag F2B. All right, let's get to the breaking news. Asteroids, back in the news. Do you remember, I used to do, asteroid announcements like sometimes every day, but once a week. And it just happens so much now that I guess, the far flybys, it's the close stuff that I'm concerned with, and the big stuff that is also close. But the most powerful tool for scientists that are studying asteroids is, studying, what's happening in our neighborhood around the Earth. It's called planetary radar. That's what it's called. And they have just logged their 1001 asteroid. 1001st asteroid. Astronomers have been using the planetary radar on asteroids since 1968. And on August 14th of last month, they hit the 1,000 number. That is a serious space rock milestone. Then scientists snagged much more detailed observations of a much bigger asteroid for observation number 1001, 10 days later on August 24th. It is called 2016 AJ163, and it's big. It's an asteroid that measured 3/4 of a mile across. That's insane. That is insane. And I looked, and it's how they shoot and how they image these asteroids that is so interesting for me. And you can go and look it up, the planetary radar system, shooting photons. I think that's how they, and they bounce back. And you capture those grainy images. That's because those are individual, right? Okay, so anyway, the 3/4 mile across asteroid, 2016 AJ193. You look at this and you just think to yourself, almost a mile across. And this stuff is just cruising by our planet all the time. Man, we need to be really thankful for the hard work of all of those astronomers. All right, I'm going to talk more about this in just a bit, but according to a new report, Facebook's encrypted messaging service, WhatsApp, isn't as private as it claims. The popular chat app, which brags about its privacy features, says parent Facebook can't read messages sent between users. That's their claim, but an extensive report by ProPublica released yesterday claims that Facebook is paying more than 1,000 contract workers around the world to read through and moderate WhatsApp messages that are supposedly private or encrypted. Facebook also reportedly shares certain private data with law enforcement agencies such as the U.S. Department of Justice. The revelation comes after Facebook boss Mark Zuckerberg has repeatedly said that WhatsApp messages are not seen by the company. Well, we know now that that is a big bowl of BS. Now, in response to the report, Facebook acknowledged that those contractors spend their days sifting through content that WhatsApp users and the service's own algorithms, keyword, flag. And they often include everything from fraud, child porn, to potential terrorist plotting. Yeah. Do you use WhatsApp? Do you use an encrypted messaging app of any kind? I'll talk more about this in just a minute. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. I like her too. Pink. Pink is 42. Martin Freeman, star of one of my favorite films, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a film that if it's on, if it's streaming, if it pops up, I watch it. I'll pick it up from whenever, hopefully the beginning, and watch it to the end. It is an excellent film. Well, Martin Freeman today is 50. David Arquette, is 50. Scream. I'm just saying, I had to do it. I had to do it. Chumley. Yes. Chumley today is 39. Bassist Will Lee. I can't believe this. Bassist Will Lee is 71. You remember him from The Late Show with David Letterman. I was in Manhattan for a week, and I was with a drummer. Oh, I was with Omar Hakim, and he took me one night to a nightclub. My memory was it was upstairs, a few stories up, to go see Will Lee and his band, and it was incredible. But Will Lee today is 71. Wild Mick Brown, the one and only, the drummer for Dokken. Today, Dokken rhymes with rockin'. Mick Brown today is 65. And one of my old dear friends, keyboard player, guitarist, and producer, Michael Lardy, today is 63. Did all those albums with Great White, wrote all those songs, produced the albums, and was the keyboard player. And guitarist, too, as well. Michael Lardy, today, 63 years old. Our dead guy's birthday today is, moment of silence, please, Benjamin Orr. 1947, died in the year 2000 at the age of 53. Benjamin was the bassist, co-founder, and co-lead vocalist of The Cars. He sang lead vocals on several of their biggest hits, including Just What I Needed, Let's Go. Oh, I love that song. And, of course, Drive. In 1976, Benjamin, Rick Ocasek, Greg Hawkes, Elliot Easton, and drummer David Robinson formed The Cars. In April 2000, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and hospitalized. And then 6 months later, Benjamin died at home in Atlanta on October 3rd, 2000, at the age of 53. Happy birthday, Benjamin. On this day in history, OTD, 1504. Michelangelo's masterpiece, his Statue of David, is unveiled to the public in Florence, Italy. It was 17 feet tall, carved from a single piece of white Carrara marble, and took 3 years to complete. Fader fact, Harrison Ford, and you remember this, Harrison Ford, Han Solo, Harrison Ford was frozen in The Empire Strikes Back because, unlike Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, Ford only signed on for 2 films. That's right. Lucas didn't know if he was coming back. That's right. And Indiana Jones was a huge success. And it was like, did he need Star Wars? Right? Think about that. So he froze him, took him out of the action. And then later, you can unfreeze him, right? Pretty smart. Tonight, we welcome very special guest, Dr. Matthew Johnson, joining us for the first time. We are going to be discussing the Bigfoot reality all night tonight. And tomorrow night's another Fader night with open lines all night long. Now, it's time for me to hit this River Moon coffee. Oh, man. RiverMoonWellness.com. The links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. You got to get some of this. You got to get one of these bags sent to you in the mail. You've got to get one of these delivered. It's just, you don't even know. You don't. I've got backup coffee. If I ever run out of River Moon, I've got backup coffee. And it's all good. I buy expensive coffee. I like, my coffee. And once in a while, I have to. And then the Fade to Black blend shipment comes. and I get back to what's real. And then I take that sip of River Moon, and I just realize how great this coffee is. You should do the same thing. Whatever your favorite coffee is, I don't care what it is, the thing that can't be topped, right? That coffee. Get some Fade to Black blend and just go back to back. Check it out. It's that good. I like my coffee, Doc. All right. Man, I just talk too much. You know what? 2 nights ago on the show, I spent the whole show just yapping. That was so much fun. 3 hours of just yapping. And I didn't run out of gas. And I really enjoyed it. And I guess you guys did too, most of you. I got to do that more often. I just need to vent. I need the time to do that. And I really enjoyed it the other night. But anyway, where am I at? Oh, so I was talking about WhatsApp. You know, the news is broke about Facebook reading your WhatsApp private texts. Yeah, it's supposed to be encrypted, which on the surface means that it's encrypted, right? Scrambled, private. And only you and the person on the other end can read it, right? Well, not so fast. It has now been revealed and confirmed by Facebook that is clearly not the case. If a WhatsApp user flags a text, they can send it to WhatsApp security, who then takes that last message and can then read the previous 4 messages or text and the next 4 that follow. That's right. They can unscramble anything they want. Nothing is really encrypted. It's just encrypted for someone who may try to intercept your messages. But law enforcement, the Justice Department, any agency, or Facebook themselves can and do read your messages. Now, let's back up a bit. To back when these different apps, like Signal, for instance, Threema, Telegram, Silent Phone, Wire, Wicker, Viber, Dust. The list is long. Started to make the news. And I thought back then that any criminal or group that needed to get things done privately, that these apps are giving them the tools that they need. And I was kind of confused, right? How's this possible? And I didn't say much about it because I didn't want to advertise these services to the dark world that surrounds us. But there was another reason I didn't bring it up. And that is this. Those agencies, national and international law enforcement, want those criminal elements to use these apps because they have all the access they need to read everything the dark world is texting to each other. Of course. That's right. Now, this makes all the sense in the world. And trust me, this is exactly what's going on. When ProPublica released their report on Facebook yesterday, I was like, well, yeah. Who is really surprised here? Now, a headline that reads, quote, Facebook is reading your encrypted WhatsApp messages, end quote. Well, that's going to get some clicks, and it should. And people should be made aware, I guess, but the criminals are made aware too. So what about Signal, Threema, Telegram, Silent Home, Wire, Wicker, Viber, and Dust? Does law enforcement and the parent companies of these apps have access to your messages? The short answer is, of course they do. There is no way that commercially available private encrypted messaging apps available in an app store are uncrackable, unbreakable. It's just not the way the world works. And I bet if you chase the money and the development of some of these products, you might find that it's the agencies themselves that are the source of the code. Seriously. Again, as it should be. This is the way the world works. It's been like this throughout history. This isn't anything modern. Imagine this. A horrible terrorist act happens. Death, destruction. And we find out that the terrorists used an app that they got from the Google store. Right? And they traded maps, photos, text, and planned everything out on their Android phones. An app that was so encrypted that nobody knew. Think about those headlines. The outrage. Well, you haven't heard about this scenario because there are no apps that run this way. So, you can be mad as hell that Facebook can read your WhatsApp messages, your secret peach cobbler recipe handed down for generations, and yeah, a secret contractor agent may just cook it and share it with their family one day. But the lesson here is a clear one. Don't message or text anything that you don't want anyone to see or read ever. Because someone, somewhere, can and will read it. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson joins us for the first time. We are going to be discussing the Bigfoot reality. We've got a lot of images we're going to be posting up tonight. That will be on Twitter, hashtag F2B, right there in the sandbox. We also have some audio that he has captured, and we will be playing that tonight live during the show. Get ready. This is a big show. I am very excited about what is about to go down. And then tomorrow night, of course, is Fader Night with open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hello to everybody listening and watching all around the world. I'll visit those chat rooms, right? I got my eye on you. I'll be right back after this short break with our guest, Dr. Matthew Johnson. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on jimmychurchradio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2B Blend for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRAradio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
Fadernauts, when you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson joins us for the first time, and tomorrow night is Fader Night. Open lines all night long, and Friday I'm taking the day off. Saturday I'll be attending the Pasadena International Film Festival, where our new film, Extraordinary: The Revelations, is doing its world premiere. I'm going to do a Q&A afterwards, and I'm not appearing in this film. I'm narrating. Yeah. Pretty excited about that. So that's going on Saturday, and then next week we'll kick off another week of Fade to Black. But tonight it's Dr. Matthew Johnson. He's here for the first time. We're going to be discussing his book, Bigfoot, a 50-year journey come full circle. I've talked about this book many times on the air, and what he has discovered about the reality of the phenomenon. In July 2000, Dr. Johnson and his family encountered a Bigfoot on a mountain above the Oregon Caves National Park. Since then, he has spent 21 years pursuing the Bigfoot Forest People with persistence and relentless commitment. He transitioned from an aggressive, old-school paparazzi money shot researcher, we're going to discuss all of that tonight, to a habituator and on to interactionist. What does all of this mean? Well, just stay right there. He is a licensed clinical psychologist. His end goal is to eliminate the social taboo that forbids people from talking about Sasquatch and the associated social stigma, which labels people as, like me, crazy. And if they actually go public with their report, his website, which we have over at jimmychurchradio.com, I've got it up in a Twitter too, as well as janu.com. And the link to his book is also up on our social media. And I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black, Dr. Matthew Johnson. Matthew, good evening, my friend. How are you?
Jimmy, thank you for having me on your show. I am a Fade to Black virgin, but I'm looking forward to many more opportunities to talk with you in the future.
Yeah, and you are a virgin, and which means you get the first-time guest disclaimer. Yeah. Okay, so here it is. It's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends, and where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends. But we're going to end as friends. There you go. You ready? And
Sounds
you're already
good.
you're on your couch, so.
I am on my couch. Normally my patients sit on this couch, but I decided to give it a shot.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's interesting because now the roles are a little bit reversed tonight.
You are. You're my Bigfoot therapist.
Yeah, I'm your Bigfoot therapist. Now, the book, and I said this many times on the show, the book changed me, but it didn't. In that, over the years, I have changed my perspective on Bigfoot, and I had my own reasons for doing that. You and I talked about this quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, but I was nudging in that direction because I was just following the evidence and my own experiences, and I had questioned. I remember many years. This is probably 10 years ago. I had Jeffrey Meldrum on the show. And I had told him then, I said, look, man, I'm a skeptic, right? I am way on the other side. I'm not in the middle. I'm way on the other side of this. And these are my reasons, whatever, no bodies, no DNA, no this, and no photograph. Aside from the Patterson film, which is where I become a hypocrite. I'm like a paradox in my own opinion, in that I have stated, Matthew, that had the UFO community had a UFO film as definitive as the Gimlin film, it would be case closed on the UFO subject, right? Okay, I say those things, but yet the Patterson-Gimlin film wasn't enough to push me in that direction. So I was like, I'm a hypocrite. So, like the definition of hypocrite, by me making that statement, that's clearly my position on this. So I've gone from that and swung over, and then I read your book, and I was like, this makes more sense to me than anything else that I need to collect right now and try to make up my own mind. This book does it. Well, the book, you lay it all out, and I want to start right here. It's tough for people to explain the changing of the guard in their mindset, right? And you've got to come clean. You've got to come out of the closet. You have to then go, this is why I am here, and I used to be here. Was it an easy book to write? And what was the reason for writing the book?
Well, the ultimate reason for writing the book was public education, and because I was asked to write the book by Zorth, the leader of the Council of 12, which sounds pretty crazy coming from a psychologist. But as far as was it difficult to write the book, it actually took me 3 weeks to write the book.
It just came out.
It just came out, yep. I had a little help.
The title, which I love, right? A 50-year journey come full circle. And by the time you're finished as a reader and you're finished reading the book, you then understand what that actually means. And I want to get into the Council of 12. I've talked about that before on the show. That is also very important. But when you describe yourself as, the paparazzi, which I think we all have been waiting for that definitive photograph, right? That definitive money shot. You were that guy, right?
Yeah, I was that guy. I was old school. As a matter of fact, I had some belief before my family and I ran into a Bigfoot on the mountain above the Oregon caves, campfire stories, that kind of stuff. And then when it actually happened, when I saw it, my whole brain kind of just shattered, and I kind of felt my brain reboot, like, what the heck is this? It's real. And then I had to deal with what I kept secret for 10 years. I didn't tell my wife, I didn't tell anybody for 10 years what I saw, until I spoke at a conference in Southern Oregon, And a gentleman approached me afterwards, after lunch, and said, you know, what really happened up on the mountain that day? And it was like, he was looking into my eyes and into my soul, and it was like, crap, I can't keep this secret anymore. So I said, I need to talk with Cynthia. At that time, she was my fiance. She's my wife now. But I said, I have to tell her first, and then I'll tell you. So I told her, and then he came out, and I told him what happened. And what happened was, you know, it was tough enough for me to be a psychologist in private practice telling the world I saw Bigfoot. But to add on top of that, I saw Bigfoot uncloak out of nowhere, then walk behind the tree. And then when I ran down to the trail to get my family out of there, he looks at me and he cloaks again. You know, I couldn't share that, and I had difficulty fathoming how I was going to get my family off that mountain alive, because not only was this thing so much bigger than me, but it could disappear and reappear. We were screwed, and I was pretty certain at that time we were dead. But I didn't know then what I know now, and if I knew then what I know now, I would have, you know, walked over the tree and said, yo, what up?
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't know then what I know now.
Now, one of the best points at this part of the conversation that you're making is that you're a psychologist, and you're not supposed to dip your toe in this kind of reality and have a public conversation about it. Is that something that you were worried about when, you know, coming out with this kind of information about your career and the way that your peers around you would look at you and maybe discuss behind your back?
I was certainly concerned about that, but the following spring, so it would have been the spring of 2001, I was attending the Oregon Psychological Association Spring Conference in Portland, Oregon. And the president of the OPA at that time, we're in this room with over close to 400 people, psychologists. The president of the OPA goes, is Dr. Matthew Johnson in the room? Will Dr. Matthew Johnson please stand up? And I'm like, I don't want to stand up. And people are pushing me from behind, kindly saying, stand up. He's calling you, stand up. So I'm going, this is not going to be good. And I stand up, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the psychologist who saw Bigfoot with his family and was brave enough to tell the world. And then I got a standing ovation.
As it should be, right? And so how after that, there's relief, the pressure, right, is
Yep.
off. Your colleagues, what did they have to say?
Well, I had a few psychologists come up to me afterwards telling me about their own encounters.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
In not only with Bigfoot, but UFOs and ghosts. And it was like, okay, so now all of a sudden I'm this magnet for everyone to come to about all these different things. And I even had this one person contact me a year later saying, I've been in therapy with my psychologist for over a year, talking about my Bigfoot encounter, which traumatized me. And the psychologist was saying, well, it's just a symbolic representation of your unresolved fears and anger, and you're manifesting it into this, you know, phenomenon of Bigfoot. And then, so I went into her office and I said, where's your computer? And I typed in your website, turned it around and showed her. She read it and she said, I guess you did see Bigfoot.
The reality side of it, I'm talking about this 2D, 3D version of it that researchers are out there doing. And I listen to everything. I listen to everybody. This is something that we're all trying to figure out. But there is, the Bigfoot TV shows, the teams, the guys that are out there and girls out there doing squatching and looking for tribes, a physical side, a species that is just like other species, a herd of elk, right? And they're out there trying to find the panda bear. There's that side of it, and it never, the story doesn't end, right? There isn't an ending of that. And I've said it a lot, and I've got a lot of friends that do Bigfoot shows. But I know the ending of those TV series, right? I know the ending. And
they never find Bigfoot.
They never find Bigfoot. So why is that? Why is Bigfoot just that elusive? Never been hit by a car. There isn't any, it's just not there. A carcass. Why is that?
Okay. I was old school for 10 years. I Map Moneymaker, BFRO took me under his wing initially and taught me a lot. I knew nothing about the whole Bigfooting thing. So I definitely got immersed in the old school philosophy of they're a descendant of Gigantopithecus, which they based Gigantopithecus on one tooth they found in a Chinese cave. And it's just a matter of time and, getting out there, and we're going to find them. And so after 10 years of doing that and then thinking it through, okay, yeah, we got some wood knocks back. We got some tracks. We got some screams. We even had them coming up to our tents at night. But nothing more substantial than that. And I thought, okay, so like Peter Burns been doing this for 50 years. Other people have been out there for 20, 30 years doing this, and they're not finding Bigfoot. And all they're doing, am I going to do this for another 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years of just more foot cast and some wood knocks and some screams? No, that's not good enough for me. I want personal interaction. And so that's when I switched, because nobody's finding Bigfoot. And this descendant of Gigantopithecus theory isn't holding any water. And there's no way that you can look at all these other people spending 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years out there not finding anything and be silly enough to keep smacking your head against a brick wall doing the same thing over and over and over again, because insanity is defined as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But yet they keep doing it because that's what everybody's doing. So me, being a psychologist and a problem solver, decided got to do something different. So then I started looking at the North American Indians, and they discussed them as being a people, a forest people, spirits of the mountains, etc. And I decided, you know what, I got to change things up. I got to approach this differently. So I stopped throwing the food on the ground in bait piles, and I started putting them in stainless steel dog food bowls and offering gifts to them. I changed my way I was viewing them and interacting with them, and started treating them with respect instead of a dumb giant mountain ape. And they kind of tested me and watching me for a year before they started taking my food and leaving fingerprints and handprints on the bowls. And they weren't mine, because I used surgical gloves, cleaned the bowls, put the food in, put the food out at sunset, picked the food up at sunrise with surgical gloves on, and there were handprints and fingerprints on the bowls. And they weren't mine. They weren't anybody else in the group. And so then we started getting audio recordings. They have a spoken language. And then people are in denial about that because, no, they can't have a spoken language or a dumb giant mountain ape. They're descendants of Gigantopithecus. And I even had one guy come after me, lots of trolls and haters, saying that it had to have been some lost Indian tribe in southern Oregon that I recorded the vocal language, because Bigfoot doesn't have a spoken language. So it has to be a lost Indian tribe in southern Oregon that nobody has ever discovered. I mean, that's how silly it gets.
The other part of this, and I want to discuss this, quite directly. There are lots of claims of DNA being recovered and analyzed. Let's just start right there. Has there been DNA collected?
Okay. The answer is yes, but what most people don't know, and what I've been taught over time, being able to communicate with Zorth, is that DNA comes from the Trachon, and the Trachon in appearance look Bigfoot-like, but they're not the Bigfoot Forest People. They're not the Janu. They are a separate species that was brought to our planet a long time ago, long before we were here, to help an alien species mine the planet. And once they were done getting what they wanted, they left the Trachon behind. So the Trachon, in order to keep their species going over time, have occasionally kidnapped a human, male or female, to mate with, to try to keep their species going. If a particular family group didn't have what they needed to keep the family system going, as far as births, etc. So the DNA with that Dr. Melba Ketchum and everybody else participating in that study has of, female and then male unknown is Trachon, not the Janu, not the Bigfoot Forest People. And to kind of contradict a little bit what you said earlier about no bodies found, well, there's the Columbus Day storm and the alleged bodies found during the Columbus Day storm, or there's Mount St. Helens erupting and the alleged bodies found in that. If indeed there were bodies found, they would be Trachon bodies. And Trachon are shorter, more like 6 to 8 feet in average, 9 at the most. They're uglier, they're more menacing. They hide deep in the forest because they've had a history of clashing with the human race, and it usually ended up with their butts being kicked. You have the stories of Vikings coming over to North America and fighting the big hairy people. That would be the Trachon. The Janu don't engage in those kind of skirmishes with humans. The Janu, the Bigfoot Forest People, are completely different. And when they die, they don't leave a body behind, and you can't get DNA from a Janu or a Bigfoot Forest person.
Now, can I ask you this? Can I ask you this real quick? We're going to take a break in 3.5 minutes. The chromosome count, as you know, in humans is 46 pairs. Primates have 48, right? Okay, and that's why we can't mate with primates. We're different. Is the chromosome count with the Trachon 46 chromosome pairs to allow for mating?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know the answer to that question. But I know they've mated.
Right.
I know they've mated. Zorth has told me that they've mated. That Albert Osterman, who got kidnapped, was being kidnapped to provide a mating service for the daughter. So that more often than not, women get kidnapped and used. The Trachon live deep in the forest, far away from humanity. Mm-hmm. And if a lone hiker, hunter stumbles across where they live, they will kill them, eat them, scatter their bones. They hate humans. I have one Trachon recorded saying human in a very disdain, I hate your guts, want to rip your heart out type of way. Very hateful.
Now, is there okay? And the chromosome pairs would have to be the same. So that's interesting, and which explains a lot, and it separates primate again from what we are talking about here. The other thing, and we'll be discussing this a lot tonight, is that Bigfoot seems to come and go, appear and then disappear. That's been my own experience, and where you see tracks appear and then end, but there's nothing before, right? And there's nothing after. Again, what I have seen personally.
Yes, exactly.
And does that explain why you can't, necessarily track a Bigfoot or know where Bigfoot came from, and you could backtrack to, a lair, for instance?
Well, the Jean knew the Bigfoot Forest People are beings of light, and they're orbs. And I used to think all this was crap, and I used to be online putting people down who talk this kind of nonsense. Right. I was an assassin of those people online. I showed no mercy. And now I'm one of those crazy loons.
Right.
And so they're beings of light, and they can shapeshift into physical form. And they vibrate at a higher frequency than we do, which takes them out of our visual field of range. Now, dogs and cats, because they have different rods and cones in their eyes, can see them. Okay? Cameras can capture them. But our eyes can't see them unless we kind of train the eyes over time, and they have to be kind of dark. It has to be dark out, and you're kind of looking for a shimmering image, like in Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator movie when it does its thing, and it kind of, you see that shimmering image in the tree. That's what you're looking for. It's easier to see them, though, when it's dark outside to do that, although you can see a shimmering image in the daylight if you train your eyes to look for it. But that's how they manage to leave footprints and then no more footprints, because they shapeshift back into orb form. Or people have reported seeing them walk toward a tree and then disappear. It's because they're in orb form and now they're inside that tree.
Now we're gonna circle back and cover that. We're getting a little bit ahead of our skis because, when we discussed the Council of 12 and that moment and things and how this was revealed, that is that part of this, and I want to arrive at that. I don't want to get you know what I mean. It's the last chapter in the book, so to speak, and I want to get to that. We'll do all of that when we come back after this short break. Our guest tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson. His book and the links to it, Bigfoot, A 50-Year History, Journey Come Full Circle, are right there on social media and our website. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30daysfree on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network. KGRADB.com.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B blend for 15% off of your order today.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest, Dr. Matthew Johnson, the Bigfoot reality. We're going to be discussing all of that tonight. In the next couple of segments, we will be posting some images, and that will be up in Twitter in the live feed, hashtag F2B. And we've also got some audio, and we'll start that in the next segment. And but right now, I want to have you, Matthew, if you can, take me to the moment of transition, right? Where you went from a black and white world to full color panchromatic resonance. What happened?
Well, just like when Dorothy opened up the door when she landed in Oz and it was color, or going from blue pill to red pill, whichever movie analogy you want to use.
Sure.
My reality just blew off the charts. The spoken language in May of 2012 was, a biggie for me, and reinforced my continuing to pursue the path I was on, trying to take from Dr. Jane Goodall's approach to habituating with chimps. And so I'm like, okay, I got to habituate with them. I have to develop their trust in order for them to interact more. Well, as that progressed, we were up this logging road on a ridge line, a dead-end logging road that dead-ended into a cul-de-sac. So we had brush and trees around the cul-de-sac. So we were like in a fishbowl. And the brush and trees allowed them to come up to the edge of the cul-de-sac. So we began to notice silhouettes, eye glow, more interactions, noises, grunts, etc. And then that eventually progressed into some really mind-blowing things.
What happened?
I don't know how. Well, okay. So Cynthia and I are up there, my fiance, now my wife, and we had the Suburban parked. And at that point in time, I was still sleeping in tents because, to be quite honest, I was still scared to death. And we had electric lamps positioned around camp because I wanted things to be lit up because I was scared to death.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call.
And so we have this lantern on the Suburban on the flat part right near the windshield because the hood's kind of sloped. And we're turning around and walking back toward the Suburban, and all of a sudden we both see this electric lamp. Biff! It flies 20 feet off the hood of the Suburban, but we didn't see anybody do it. That was a mind blower. Okay. And then I started getting a little braver because I started crunching the numbers. Okay. I've been at this for 12 years now, and I've been out there countless days and nights. And actually, up to the time that the Exodus occurred in 2016, I did the math. When you add up all the days and nights that I had been out in the woods, I was out of those 16 years. When you add up all those days, I was out there for 4 years total. That's how committed I was. And I was driving 1,000 miles round trip 2 times a month and forking out hundreds of dollars in food, etc., to make this happen. That's how committed I was. So I had to crunch the numbers and realize, okay, I've been out there this long and I've never woken up dead once. So I need to kind of like let that fear go. So I went there by myself and I'm in the tent, pup tent, and I'm almost 7 feet tall. So my head's hitting the back of the tent. My feet are hitting the front of the tent. And I have my little toy fox terrier sleeping on top of the sleeping bag by my feet. And about 25 feet over by the Suburban, I hear the camp stove lift up and set down because I had the garbage bag anchored under the camp stove.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not supposed to have garbage bags in your camp because that attracts bear and other animals that you don't want to attract to camp. But I intentionally left it there because I did want to attract anything and everything to know what was out there. So then all of a sudden, I could hear this bag being dragged across the dirt from 25 feet away towards the tent. And then all of a sudden, whatever it was, dragged the bag in front of the tent across my feet. My dog ran up to my neck, dove inside the sleeping bag. It picked it up again, dragged it in front of my feet. It picked it up a third time, dragged it in front of my feet. And it wasn't that the garbage bag was so heavy that he couldn't just carry it. He was doing it all for effect. And then you hear as he drags it away. Next morning, I wake up, unzip the tent, get out, and he had tied the bag to a limb on the tree 5 feet off the ground. And so I got the message he wanted me to come out of the tent. So then I did. I came out of the tent and I started sleeping in the back of the Suburban because that freaked me out. I'm like, okay, let him drag a garbage bag against the glass window of the Suburban. He's not going to get me that way, right? So now I'm in there. My little boy is with me. At that time, he's 4 or 5. And I wake up around 2 in the morning because I thought I heard, and I fall back to sleep. Well, I'm recording every night, and I do have what I just told you recorded. And you can go to SoundCloud.com and click on Team Squatching USA, and a lot of my audio recordings are there for people to listen to. But I checked the recording after the Suburban incident, and I hear him walk up into camp, mess with stuff on the table. Then he walks over to the Suburban and knocks on the window, knock, 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 and then he walks away. So after that, okay, I realize he wants me to sleep outside. So that's when I started sleeping outside on a cot under the stars. No more tents, no more Suburbans, and also no more light, because they clearly gave me a mind-speak message when he whacked that electric lantern off the Suburban hood, no lights. So it's like, okay, in the dark, fade to black, in the dark, sleep on the cot, let him come in at night when you're sleeping.
Have you been, I know I just want to ask you this quiet, I kind of know the answer, but when you're out sleeping in the open, what's it like to be touched?
Pretty amazing now, right? But the first time that I was actually awake and realizing it was going on was a little unnerving. But again, I crunched the numbers and mentally prepared myself that I've never woken up dead in all these years. They're not going to kill me. They obviously mean me no harm. So based on that, I tell anyone that had gone out with me, you are a Navy SEAL. You're as strong as steel. You will not freak out. You can freak in, but don't freak out, because they don't want you to be afraid. And if you have that startle response and be afraid, they're going to back away from you because they don't want to scare you. And so then you end up sabotaging yourself and taking away the very thing that you wanted, because you're coming out with me for it, is interaction. So, and to tell you the truth, one time, I was so sound asleep, I never knew it happened, and didn't find out until after the fact that they removed what the cardiovascular surgeon would call a big ass DVT from my leg that went from my groin to my knee and should have killed me. And he, when Cynthia and I were in the office, he said 100 times, you should be dead. You should be dead. This is a miracle. Nobody ever lives through this. I've been doing this for 25 years. Nobody lives through that. You should be dead. You should be dead. And, Cynthia and I are looking at our watches. we have to go on, and we dismiss him from the appointment because it's going on for 45 minutes and he's not stopping. You should be dead. You should be dead. I didn't even feel that. I didn't even know they did that until we were back up in the mountains a couple months later. And it's July, and it was over 100 degrees every day. And Cynthia brought sheets so we could sleep with the top flap of the sleeping bag open with sheets over us to be cooler when we're sleeping and keep the bugs off of us. And I'm laying there, and then all of a sudden I feel this big hand on my leg going from my groin to my knee for about 5 minutes. And then I hear him mind speak with the other one. His leg is still okay. And I'm like, still okay? And then he drops his hand down to my crotch, and it's not sexual, but I feel this energy going for a couple minutes. And he goes, his prostate is still okay. And I'm going, still okay? That's why my PSA scores are normal now. I got diagnosed with prostatitis when I was 35. And then it went up to my stomach and rubbed for a half hour, because I had been into the ER twice earlier that month with sharp pains like a knife in my gut. And they did a CAT scan on me and found a golf ball size growth in my intestinal tract. And he worked on that for a half hour, and he said his stomach is okay now. So a couple days after that, Cynthia and I are back in Puyallup, Washington, and I'm undergoing the snake, the colonoscopy. And I wake up after the procedure, and the doctor's standing there dumbfounded, and he's showing me the CAT scan where the golf ball size growth is. And he said, I went up your butt twice. It's not there. I looked everywhere. It's not there. It's gone.
Sounds like I need to camp with you. It sounds like I got to sleep under the stars. And okay, let's come back to that.
Yes.
I'm looking at the clock, and we've got all of these images and audio that we're going to get to too as well. When we discuss the Janu, how, if you were to guess, how many are here on Earth?
So I asked Zorth that question.
Yes.
His response was answering me with a question. How many trees are there on the planet?
Right. And I'll tell you this. I did a Fader fact. I do Fader facts on every show. I did a Fader fact 4 or 5 years ago that there are more stars in the Milky Way than there are trees on this planet. And that number is 1 trillion. There's 1 trillion trees on this planet. So, are you suggesting that that number is maybe 1 trillion?
No, I'm not.
Right. That's a lot of Janu.
Yeah, well, you figure orbs, right, going into the tree. And by the way, your listeners, if they're not familiar with my book or haven't watched any of my YouTube videos, they're going, what the heck is he talking about?
Right.
And when they're in orb form, they go inside the tree during the day to get the energy from the sun and also the nutrients from the ground through the roots. And trees are kind of like their docking stations or charging stations. And once they've had their sustenance, then they pop out of the tree in orb form and either remain in orb form or they start shape-shifting and slowing down their vibrational frequency. And so they're all over the place. And the cool thing about it is, and I try to tell people this, you don't have to go up into the mountains on horseback and quads and go out for 50, 100, 200 miles into the nowhere to try to interact with them. They're in your backyard. Do you have trees in your backyard? They're in your backyard. They're in Central Park in New York City.
And this is a good point to discuss the Council of 12. Because, and when I read this in the book and also discussed this on the air, I remember leading up to that and the discussion of it, I was expecting something else, right? I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting how it was then revealed. So
you
let's,
and me both.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's set this up. We've got enough time to get this in so everybody can better understand what we're talking about here, which is what we're talking about. What is the Council of 12? And when you first were there, did you have any idea what the Council of 12 was in front of you?
No idea. I had Mike Kincaid, a good friend of mine that had been out there with me for years. I had Steve Bachman just arrive on the scene, who you have already interviewed before. He's a great guy.
Great guy.
He's coming over to our house this weekend. We're going to have about 50 people there for a weekend gathering at our house. And anyway, Steve Bachman is the creator of the electromagnetic pulsating device based on designs from Tesla. And we were able to use that, the Janu were able to use that to complete the exodus, to keep the portal open between Earth and their dying home world and bring everybody over. Well, when we were asked to go up, I was given a vision, we were asked to go up to the top of the hill in the area to meet with the Council of 12. We were fully expecting 12 upright, hairy, bipedal beings to walk in.
So was I, by the way.
Yeah, and it turns out, Zorth has a mind speak with me, and he says, count the trees from your left to your right. Now, it's pitch dark at night. We're up in the middle of bloody nowhere at over a mile elevation, and there's trees everywhere. But he says, count the trees from your left to your right that I could see right in the dark. And I count, and there's 12 of them. And he says, count again, and there's 12. And then he says, we're in the trees. And then he says, have Mike and Steve count. So I say, Zorth wants you to count the trees from your left to the right. And they both count. And what do you have? 12, 12. He wants you to count one more time. They count 12, 12. And then all of a sudden, simultaneously, Mike and Steve go, they're in the trees. And then that's when Zorth revealed to me that they're orbs and everything I've already shared. But the Council of 12 consists of 2 members from each habitable continent. Okay, so there's 7 continents on the planet, but Antarctica is not habitable. There's no trees. So there's 2 representatives from each continent on the planet.
Now, is this location where the Council of 12 is that the only Council of 12 location on the planet? That's where they gather?
That's where they used to gather.
Okay, let's explain.
Well, now they're okay. So Cynthia and I just purchased a lovely 4,000 square foot log home on top of a mountain in the state of Washington, 61 acres of forest. And their meeting location is nearby. They have moved. They gave up that area in Southern Oregon to be closer.
And why did they give that up? Was it because the location became known?
Because the location, I'm just going to tell you because it doesn't matter now. I don't care if anybody else goes down there. It was located a couple miles within a stone's throw of the Oregon Caves up in the mountains.
Right.
And it's now, it was a Southern Oregon interaction area, SOIA, but now it's a Southern Oregon Tracon interaction area. So if you want to go play with the Tracon who hate you, want to kill you, eat you, and spread your bones, go there. But the national park, the rangers there were paying more and more and more attention and showing up more whenever we were there, and trail cams and just driving by. They never used to do that. So Zor said we're getting out of this area, and it was at that area where I recorded the Tracon saying human, kind of like I want to kill you and eat you. I have disdain for you. And so the Tracon have taken over, and they smashed the X. They broke the X that the Janu established in the area. And all these X's out there in the forest are the mark of the Janu. And the X marks their territory.
Now, Eric Awakening Man, who Eric Awakening Man, I don't know exactly. This last year and a half has been a blur, but he had a pretty rowdy experience in Arizona where, I think that his best guesstimate was around 3 dark entities at night. It was about 1 a.m. Were shaking his van, and he ran from the campsite. There was another friend that was there with him. But then as he got some distance away and was facing that, he got pushed down from behind like he was tackled. And he's a big guy. He like you, right? He's tall. He's a big human. But he got pushed down. And with that type of experience, that kind of negative encounter, is that the Tracon?
That would be the Tracon. If they're in physical form, Tracon are malevolent, they're aggressive. However, the Janu have been known to herd a-holes out of the woods. People they don't like. They don't like their attitude. They don't like their approach. They don't like their disrespect. And so they'll never harm anybody. They'll never kill anybody, but they'll roar, chase them out, get them scared and move them along. If we have somebody come into our house that we didn't invite and they're a total a-hole, we're going to show them the door. And so they've been known to intimidate, and you'll have people go, I was chased by Bigfoot. He tried to kill me, but I got away. Give me a break. If Bigfoot wanted to kill you, you wouldn't be alive telling me this.
Sure.
You'd be dead.
Now, the There's another part to this, though, which is the communication seems to be the ability to talk telepathically or to understand or see. It may not be a conversation that's telepathic, but certainly there is a communication between us humans and the Janu. And that is becoming more and more obvious. Is that only from the Janu, or could that be from another physical species too as well?
Source said that if a kind person with a good heart and an open mind reaches out to us, we will reach back to them. But those three criteria are important. You could have a kind person with a good heart, but not an open mind, and that's not good enough. So they will reach back.
So they telepathically, they would understand those 3 points. They would know that in advance.
Oh, they can read our minds.
Right,
yes.
right.
And so they would know those things. But telepathically, they can communicate with some who are wired to receive. Others aren't as wired. Steve Bachman, who you interviewed,
yes,
he can't do the telepathic communication. So they work with him and found a way to communicate with him where he asks them questions, and they have to be yes/no questions, and then they'll push on him if it's a yes, and they won't do anything if it's a no. They can communicate through symbols and glyphs. There's lots of different ways that they will reach out and try to connect with the human based on that human's particular strengths and weaknesses, what they're wired for and not wired for.
What does our government know about Bigfoot? And if they do know something, do they want us to understand this reality?
Now I'm going to sound like a tin hat conspiracy theorist.
Welcome to the club.
I'm going to answer that question for you. When I took my family back up on the mountain a couple days after our encounter, and Ranger John Roth, had me walk him through everything, plus a couple members of the BFRO were there. And Ranger John Roth went off the path down and checked the area, said something big went through here within the last 24, 48 hours. Come on down, I want to show you guys something. There's this huge track on a trail, which dwarfed my size 16 foot. And he's squatted down, pointing at it, saying why it's not a bear, why it's a Bigfoot track, and we're all standing listening to him. And then he looks up at us and he says, I need to let you know that the park has a policy where we will not take a public position regarding the existence of the Bigfoot species within our park boundaries.
Simple as that, right?
What the heck did he just say? They have a policy? How do you have a policy unless a bunch of guys sit down and talk about creating a policy? And why would you sit down and create a policy unless things had happened in that park before? And then in the next month, I was inundated with phone calls and emails from people who worked there, hiked there, mined near there, hunted near there, who all had experiences spanning a 30-year period of time. So the park was covering it up, obviously. And then we had Senator Winan from Oregon speak at our Grants Pass Rotary Club. And I had spoken a little bit earlier about, they always had this happy buck. You stand up, you throw a buck on the table for fundraising and share something happy that happened that week. Well, everybody was accustomed to me standing up and throwing my dollar on the table, and I called it my hairy buck, not happy buck, my hairy buck. And I would share updates from our research. And so, the U.S. Senator is listening, and I end it with, and one day when we prove the existence of the Bigfoot species, I doubt the United States government will be prepared to deal with the ramifications. Well, I sit down, he stands up, he gives his talk for 20 minutes, and then he looks directly at me across the room and he goes, Dr. Johnson, I can assure you, when you establish the existence of the Bigfoot species, the United States Congress will be fully prepared to deal with the ramifications.
Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson. We are discussing the Bigfoot reality. When we come back after this break, we'll get to some images. We'll get to some audio. We'll discuss all of that right after this short break. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. This is Jimmy Church, and I invite you to attend the 20th Annual Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo live and in person this September 17th, 18th, and 19th at the LAX Airport Hilton. Connect with exhibitors, community, thought leaders, and friends as we begin to recreate the world. You can also watch the expo from the comfort of your own home. Live stream from the main stage in Los Angeles and from the main stage in London. Truly a global simulcast event broadcast around the world. Live stream and in-person expo tickets are available now. I'll be your host all weekend long from Los Angeles. And on Friday, it's my Ancient Secrets and Earth Mysteries themed segment with James Keenan, Caroline Corey, and William Henry. And on Saturday, Daniel Sheen and I sit down for a one-on-one interview live. We have an amazing lineup of 25 speakers, including Bashar, Gail Thackeray, Kimberly Meredith, Whitley Strieber, Stephen Bassett, Daniel Brinkley, and Lisa Garr. Please visit ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and info. That's ConsciousLifeExpo.com and use that promo code Jimmy for a special discount. Fadernauts, when you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson. More with Matthew right after this quick public service announcement. That is, are you prepared? I'm prepared. It's easy to get prepared. Just go to preparewithjimmy.com. My Patriot supply. I am stocked up. I'm good to go, and I have everything to go along with all of that excellent food. I've got my batteries, my lanterns, my solar power, my portable USB chargers. I've got the little Bunsen burners. I've got a little portable stove and things. I am good to go. I've got totes that are packed, and if anything hits the fan, I'm only not prepared. I'm only prepared, not only prepared for my house, but if I got to throw things in the car and get out of town, I can do all of that. It's easy to do. Click on the link in the video description box below if you're watching the video. You can also head over to jimmychurchradio.com. The banners are there, and you can also type into your browser preparewithjimmy.com. All right, great specials going on over there, and you need to be the king or queen of your castle. Take care of your family and make sure that you're prepared today. All right. Our guest tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson, and somebody just posted up in one of the chat rooms. Matthew said that. It made me laugh. You were probably watching me laugh. Bigfoot invented social distancing.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, man, I just laughed. I scroll back to see who I can't give credit. There's too many posts that are happening in a row, but whoever posted that, spot on and well played. All right, so we've got a collection of stuff here, and I don't know where to start. I kind of want to start with some audio, and the one I could almost say you could take your pick, but the one that I'm attracted to right away is Bigfoot Scream in Backyard. Can we start there?
Yes, this was recorded with a parabolic microphone dish. If anyone out there wants to get their hands on a really good parabolic microphone dish, I'd suggest the Bionic Ear parabolic microphone dish and hook it up with a really nice digital recording device, and you'll get some good sound. So this was right out of our backyard in our previous home that we just moved away from a week and a half ago.
And so I'm going to play it now, and we'll play it a couple of times. This is about 13 seconds long, and check it out. Okay, now the excellent capture. I can tell that it was amplified.
Yes.
It's done with a parabolic mic. And any idea on distance?
Okay, so our previous home was on 10 acres of sloped property that went down to wetlands, and then across the wetlands on the other side were 500,000 acres of Weyerhaeuser timber property. And it was coming from that sloped property, timber property, on the other side of the wetlands. So I don't know, 300-400 yards away.
Let's play that again. And and I told Matthew earlier, I want to listen to these for the first time along with the audience and get my own reaction. And my first reaction to this is, it doesn't sound like any other forest creature that I've heard.
Could have been a squirrel.
Yeah, could have been a squirrel. Yeah, I have a squirrel that I swear to God, this dude talks to me. And I've never heard a squirrel make noise, but this guy makes noise. We'll talk about that on another show. Anyway, but this doesn't sound happy. That's just my first impression. What is the meaning behind this before I play it again?
Okay, so the Jean-Nu, after the Exodus, asked me to remain on board because when the Exodus was over, 16 years of kind of OCD, compulsive. I got to solve this. I got to find the answer. I got to have the solution. And when the Exodus is over the next morning, I'm like, I'm free, right, Zorth? I'm done. I did my deed for king and country. I can go now. And he said, well, yeah, but we'd like you to stay on board as our ambassador. We'd like you to be our 13. We'd like you to help educate others around the world about us. Well, I'm okay. That's an honor. Sure. After 16 years of this, why not? So sure, I would love to do that. Well, they know in order for me to do that, I need to be able to provide evidence that I actually have a relationship with them. And so they give me pictures, they give me audio recordings, they give me all kinds of things to turn around and share with everybody else that I do have a relationship with them. I am interacting with them. That happened to be Khan 2, who was the leader of the family group on our property. So he wasn't angry. He was just giving us audio proof that they're on our property.
I got you. And you're referring to the Exodus with Steve Bachman.
Yes, and Mike Kincaid.
Yeah, and Mike Kincaid.
And my son Grady Johnson was there as well.
We're going to post some pictures of everybody probably in the next segment after we get through this audio. I'm going to play this again. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. It sounds large.
Yes, Con 2 is large.
It sounds large.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go.
If you wouldn't mind picking the Scream, the other Scream from the backyard.
Okay, I don't have that, and you know why I don't have that? You gave it the same title, and so I didn't want to override the file.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
Because I thought it was a duplicate. Now, see, that's me being the doofus. It was the same. Okay. I just thought you sent it to me twice. Okay. I can go back and find it. Okay, let's go to Matt.
Okay, so I'm at the Southern Oregon habituation area. This is in December of 2013. Johnny Manson and I are up there after Christmas. It's 20 above zero. We wake up with ice on our sleeping bags and on our faces. And we go out and we get the gifting bowls. And then we come back and we want to get into the Suburban and turn on the engine and heat up our bodies because we feel like we're dying of hypothermia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still recording because I record all night long. And so we're in the Suburban warming up, and I think Seska thinks we're leaving. And so he's calling out my name, Matt, and I kind of cycled it. So it's he says it 3 times and then it loops. 3 times, it loops.
Here we go. This is it's about 20 seconds long. Okay, again, incredible. How do you respond? Okay, hold on a minute. Did you hear it?
No, we're in the Suburban trying to survive. The engine's on, the heater's blowing. No, I had no clue.
This is going on outside.
I didn't listen to it till I got home.
Right. This is going on outside. So you didn't have an opportunity to respond.
Nope. Didn't know it happened until I got home and listened to the audio recording. And when I record all night long, which is going to be 8, 10, 12 hours, that means I come home and I listen to every second of that 8, 10, 12 hours.
Yeah, it's the most.
I don't just look at the spikes, because some of the best stuff is in the valleys in between the spikes.
That's right. And it's time consuming.
Yep.
Time consuming. And let's hear this again. Sounds like a broken heart.
Well, I think he was, he thought we were leaving.
Right.
And he didn't want us to go.
Sounds like a broken heart. Dude.
Yeah.
Let's,
what are you doing?
The next one, again, I like the title. De Welu.
De Welu. Okay, so I have some gentlemen up in the mountains with me, Adam Davies, a British researcher, and a friend of his from New Jersey, John Carlson, and they're up in the mountains with me, and we had some long nights up there, and we had gone out to collect the gifting bowls at sunrise, and they had fingerprints, handprints on them, but we were exhausted. So we put the bowls back on the table, which also had the parabolic microphone dish on the table. Also had a box of 4 Cinnabon rolls. Okay. So Adam was there, John was there, I was there, and my youngest boy, Grady, was there. And the goal was we're climbing back into our sleeping bags, getting some more sleep. And when we wake up, we're going to have those Cinnabon rolls for breakfast, right? So we go back to sleep. We wake up a couple hours later. We go over the Cinnabon roll box, which is still on the table, and the rolls are gone. They're gone, and the lid's closed. It's like, what the? Did you guys take? No, I didn't touch it. I didn't. How about? No, I didn't. And I'm like, this is weird, but I left the recorder on. So when I got home, I listened to who took those Cinnabon rolls. And if you listen closely, you'll hear a couple Janu all kind of talking, and one ends with, de Welu, which I know what that means in Squatchanese. It means score. We got the Cinnabon rolls.
Hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you. That kind of phenomenon isn't exclusive to Sasquatch. I've had them disappear in my own house.
Yeah, right.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay, here we go.
So it's looped. They didn't say that twice. I
Right.
looped it twice.
I'm going to play that again. You got birds too. So they are able to, I mean, primates don't have the ability, they don't have vocal cords to chop up tone into words.
Correct, and these are not primates.
That's what I'm saying. Here,
these are an alien species from another planet.
Here, you can clearly, it's audible that they are able to, it's not just telepathy, that they are able to, what's the word that I'm looking for? And I'm a guitar player. I'm a musician. There's a word that I'm trying that I'm trying to get out. Modulate. That's the word. They the Janu can modulate. So it's not just telepathy. It's a
Correct.
physical speech.
Yeah, they can if they want to. Yes, definitely.
That is fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. Next one. Let me look at the break. Okay. We have time to get 2 more in. Melodic scream.
Oh, here we are. That's the one.
Oh, that's the one.
This is Cantu's wife, Saria. Okay. And now she's on the other side of the wetlands doing this melodic scream. And then her husband, Cantu, is on our side of the wetlands, on our slope property, responding to her at the end.
So then you did send me the backyard scream twice.
My bad.
Okay. See? Okay, there we go. Okay. Here we go. This is melodic scream. And before we hear that, I just want to understand, are you saying that this is a question and answer between the two?
He's just responding. Not a question and answer. She's just doing her melodic scream, and he responds to her melodic scream.
Got it. Here we go.
It's beautiful.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm going to play it again. How this sounds really amplified to me because of the background. You know, I can hear that amplified. Can you hear this with your own ears?
Barely. The parabolic microphone dish did its job, but Cynthia and I were sitting at the fire pit in our backyard, and we could barely hear it. But the bionic ear parabolic microphone dish did amplify it, and the recording was incredible. Now, you did mention time for 2 more. That was 1 out of 2. If we're going to pick one last one, I would want it to be Saria, where she says, agathos. Oh, come, you should be positive about living with us. And to frame that up, Cynthia and I were doing a night sit by ourselves in our backyard recording. And we were kind of having a whining fest about a tough day, a tough week, certain people, blah, blah, and haters in the Bigfoot world who are riding my butt. And so anyway, we're done whining to each other. We get up, we go into the house, go to the bathroom, brush our teeth, grab our pillows to come back out and climb in the sleeping bags on our cots and sleep under the stars. Well, while we're in the house getting ready to come back out, Saria walks up to the parabolic microphone dish and gently and kindly and lovingly kicks our butts about our attitude. And so she starts off agathos, which is Greek for God is good. Agathos. Oh, come, you should be positive about living with us. Living with us.
Now, it's
an awesome recording.
Now, this is 3 seconds long.
Agathos. Oh, come, you should be positive about living with us.
Okay, here we go. Play it again. This was outside.
Yeah, she walked up to the parabolic microphone dish and gently kicked our butts while we were inside the house about our attitudes.
Okay, I'm going to play this again. It's so fast. Somebody just tweeted, that's spooky. Did you see her?
Oh, I've seen her, yes.
No, I mean, record this.
No,
you were inside. House. You were inside.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this again. Wow.
Okay, so there's a couple things about that you and your listeners need to understand. Number one, she started off using Greek, agathos, okay? God is good. Then she speaks in English clearly, And she talks about us living with them. We need to have a positive attitude while we're living with them. And you need to understand that they've been on this planet longer than we've been on this planet, so they know all our spoken languages, including the ones we've lost throughout our history. I have a friend in Georgia, Alex Menez, who has a recording of him conversing with a Janu out in the forest in Spanish.
How long, you just mentioned that, how long have they been here?
They came over during the last period of our dinosaurs 65 million years ago, approximately.
And the reason for that was their planet already dying?
They realized that their sun was starting to burn out, and they had witnessed on their own planet aliens connecting planets to planets via portals. And so, you know, they can watch, and they could be right next to you and you don't know they're there. And they watch them build these portals, work these portals, and some of them had the ability to manipulate the portals and go through the portals. So when they realized their sun was dying, their own Council of 12 on their world sent out scouts throughout the universe to try to find a planet that they could move to, or at least 25% of their population that had the ability to manipulate the portals could go to. And so that's how they ended up on the Earth 65 million years ago.
And the end of that cycle of that exodus, that was with you and Steve Bachman.
And Mike Kincaid and my son Grady Johnson.
Right. And this recording was done about a year ago. No, 2 years ago. Right? I'm looking.
So come, you should be positive about living with us. Yes.
And I've only got a few seconds left. And the melodic scream, which was beautiful, no doubt. That was July of 2018. So these are fairly recent.
Oh yeah. It doesn't end. I have a ton of recordings that I didn't send to you. I have a ton of evidence that I haven't put out there yet.
Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson. The Janu call him Matt. I like that. We will take our break right here, and we'll come back and start posting some images. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on jimmychurchradio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to getthet.com. That's getthet.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to getthet.com. That's getthet.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to getthet.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's getthet.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRAradio.com.
When you're in the house for longer periods of time, you can see them flying or running across the floor. Ooh, yuck. They're unhealthy, gross, and disgusting. Bugs. I loathe bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. On contact, it kills hidden bugs, including ants, roaches, and fleas. Plus, Orange Guard is a residual repellent. All of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally recognized as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard. Available at orangeguard.com, Whole Foods, and Ace Hardware.
Gold loves chaos, uncertainty, and disarray. History shows us what gold does when people aren't sure about the government, the stock market, their jobs, or their retirement savings. Our national debt is skyrocketing. Gold and other precious metals are a defense measure against inflation and a stock market that might take years to recover. So what can you do right now to protect yourself? Call United Gold Group. We offer gold and other precious metals delivered securely within 72 hours. Are you worried about the stock market? We can also help you set up a real gold or silver IRA or a 401k. Safe and secure. United Gold Group makes gold ownership affordable. Call now and get up to $2,500 in free gold or silver with a qualified IRA. Call 800-753-8534. That's 800-753-8534 or visit unitedgoldgroup.com.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson. We're discussing the reality of Bigfoot. Now, we just went through a bunch of audio files in the last segment. Absolutely fascinating. And now we're going to go through, we've got quite a few images here. And now I'm going to set this up for Matthew. I've already posted them up in Twitter. And it says first set 4 of 4. And these images, Matthew, are the one, it's the image of Bigfoot back behind, in between two trees. And then you've done some enhancement of that original photograph. Now, I'm pulling up the original photograph here. It's labeled 111. And you can clearly see between the two trees, something is back there, right? And now my question is this, in these images, is the head a different color than the body?
I apologize. I wish I knew which pictures you were looking at. Is there some way that I can see the pictures that you're showing to everybody?
If you go to my Twitter feed, hashtag F2B, you can see them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I apologize. I'm not on Twitter.
Okay. Well, it look my.
You're talking about this one?
No, there's not another person in this picture.
Okay.
It's two trees. And then Bigfoot is standing there, and no, not that one either. Unless that is the enlarged. No. Oh, show me that again.
Okay. Here's the unenlarged one.
No, that's not it. It's two trees. Right? In the first image is two trees. Dirt, just like this. No. We'll get to that one too.
Well, I have a lot of pictures,
Yes,
Jimmy.
yes.
I have a lot of pictures. So go ahead and describe it. What I am going to tell you is all these pictures that I sent to you were taken on our former property that we just moved away from.
Mm-hmm.
And all these pictures that you're sharing with your listeners were taken within 100 feet of our house. Or less.
Okay, this is what I said. See, I really need your help on this. It looks like Bigfoot's head is lighter in color than the body.
Okay.
Is that? I feel like now, since you don't understand, I'm not seeing this correctly.
Yeah, and I apologize. Unless I see the picture, I can't really comment other than just to tell your listeners that they were all taken on our property within 100 feet of our house. Words of encouragement are, once again, as I said earlier, in a different segment, you don't have to go way deep in the woods to come and interact with them. If you have trees in your backyard, you can start right there.
Okay, I am going to do this. I'm going to send you the pictures. I need clarification. I need to know what's going on with this. So
okay,
just let me do this. I have the ability to do a couple of things.
This one?
No. Okay, so just stay right there.
Okay.
And I am going to drop these. This is live radio, folks. Okay. So, oh man. Is it still uploading? Oh, here it is. Okay, I have it here. Okay, now, stay there, Matthew. I'm going to drop this into our little chat, and this is the picture here. Man, I got fast computers. Okay, now, check out the chat. That's the picture.
Oh, okay. Yes, that one. So that was actually up in the area of the Oregon Caves, and it's between two trees, but that's also the bigger picture near an X. There's an X nearby. So I don't know if you have that larger picture that I believe I sent to you associated with that picture, but that was driving off the mountain, coming down the road. We actually stopped to take pictures with the giant X in the background, and then somebody noticed that later in when we were zooming in on the pics that happened to be there. So that was not in our backyard.
Okay, now look at the second image. That's the third enhanced one.
Yes.
That looks to me like Bigfoot's head is a different color.
Well, it's got flesh. The skin color is different than the darker hair color.
Right.
The whole head is not all hairy.
Right. That's my point. This is fascinating. Yeah. Now, is this what Janu looks like?
Well, okay, so you need to think about them the same way about us humans, right?
Right.
We all look different. We all come in different shapes and sizes, different colors, different skull shapes, nose shapes, chin shapes. So they're equally diverse in their appearance.
This is just fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Okay, so now I'm going to send you the next image. Let me look at the clock. Man, I knew we were going to run out of time, and we are already there. This next image is this one. going to send this to you so you know which one we're talking about.
Okay.
And this one to me is Crazy Town. This is excellent. Okay. So next.
Yes. That's a young one, probably about 75 feet away from our house, back in the trees. I was given a mind speak. A lot of the pictures that I have of them in our backyard, I was asked to take pictures. Now, remember when I told you they vibrate at a higher frequency than our eyes can see, but cats and dogs can see them. Cameras can capture them. So I took pictures because I was asked to take pictures, but I did not see them, but the camera captured them.
And what's the distance on this one?
This one was about 75 feet away from the house, probably about 50, 60 feet away from me. And that's kind of enlarged because the picture is, farther back, and I had to zoom in, enlarge to pull this out.
Okay, the next one, I'm calling this the Teen, and it is, the pickup truck with the generator.
Oh, yeah.
So that one's coming up next because we've been talking about this all night, and now everybody can see. Now, I've seen the generator before, but I've never published a picture, and so now it's up now. Do you need to see this picture or
no? I don't need to see that picture.
Okay, so
that picture is of myself, Steve Bachman, and Mike Kincaid, and that's up at the Southern Oregon Interaction area the morning before the night of the Exodus.
And what was so great when Steve was on the show, he describes the generator, but I don't believe we posted pictures of it. But how it ran, the problem with the batteries,
yes.
Right? That whole thing.
Yeah.
So describe to everybody the generator, which is sitting on the tailgate.
So there are two deep cycle marine batteries that draws energy from that through the inverter to the wheel device. The wheel device has 16 powerful magnets. When it spins around, it generates free energy. When you're standing near it, you can feel that energy pulsating off the device. Okay, and with that energy, it cycles it back through the inverter, back to the batteries, and keeps the batteries charged. So essentially, the batteries do not run out of juice while it's creating free energy, additional energy. Okay, and Steve tested it and ran it, and the batteries never ever died, never drained, right? So the very first night we ran it for 2.5 hours, and the batteries died. And it was like, what the heck? Steve was perplexed. Well, it turns out that, and they managed to bring a couple thousand over that first night, and it turns out that they were drawing energy from the magnetic pulsating device, the wheel, and from the batteries. So they drained the batteries. Well, then Steve had to go home the next day, so Mike and I went to auto parts store and got more batteries and charged them all up and went back up to the mountain, and we decided to start with Steve Bachman's 2 batteries that drained, and we recharged fully. And the Janu heard us talking about and speculating why those batteries got drained, and we told them, leave the batteries alone, just take the energy off the wheel. So that next night it ran for several hours, and those same batteries that drained within 2 hours the first night kept going and going and going for hours, and were fully charged when the whole Exodus was over with, because they left the batteries alone.
Now, how did you figure out, because, this is a Tesla device based on a Tesla design, but Tesla didn't design this to be a portal between planets, right?
Well, and it didn't create the portal. It gave them the energy to keep the portals open on both ends.
Now, that's my question, though. Okay, so you answered the question before I asked the question. So let's back up. How did you figure out that the byproduct of this Tesla device was able to power the portals.
Able to empower the Jean Nu to keep the portals open.
Correct.
Okay. So when Adam Davies and John Carlson were visiting the Southern Oregon habituation area in 2014, they accidentally stumbled onto a portal in the area. I had been there for 8 years. I saw a light flashing on the trees in front of me, figuring a car was driving up the logging road behind me. I turned around, there was no vehicle. I could never figure out where this flashing light on the trees in front of me was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was coming from behind, but I never saw the source. So they stumbled onto a portal. There was all this portal incident, brouhaha, and there's some misunderstanding on their part as far as what the portal was really all about. You know, I'm saying it's all tied together. They're saying at one end of the cul-de-sac was activity with Bigfoot. On the other end of the cul-de-sac was a portal and a gateway to hell with demons. How lucky am I? I should buy a lottery ticket. I have all this stuff going on in one place at one time. Well, it wasn't a portal to hell with demons. So anyway, I managed after a year to problem solve and figure out how to reopen the portal. And then I reopened the portal several times over the following summer with several witnesses with me. Okay. And so the Jean Nu, you know, were pleased that I finally figured out how to reopen the portals. And then they asked for my help to put together a team to help them with the exodus. And I'm like, I'm a psychologist. I'm all thumbs when it comes to my hands and making things, but I know people, I can put a team together. Well, I was on Coast to Coast AM, and I talked about the whole portal thing. And Robert Golka, a retired MIT physicist, heard the program, contacted me, said he had been researching the Bermuda Triangle. And there was a similar portal phenomenon there that fit what I was describing about SOA, and he wanted to learn more. And so I told him about portals, Bigfoot, blah, blah, blah. And he said, okay, I'd like to help you. But then it turned out like a week later, he wanted to kill a Bigfoot and bring the body in, which totally wiped that out. And then, so I'm like back to square one. I don't have my team. I thought I had an MIT physicist on my team, right? But now I've got nobody. And then out of the blue, I get this email from Steve Bachman saying, I've been watching your YouTube channels, and you're one of the 2 people I believe who are legit, and I would like to come down to your area. And so, oh, by the way, he attaches a picture of this electromagnetic pulsating device based off Tesla's design. And I'm going, whoa, yes, I'd love for you to come down. And so Steve Bachman goes from being YouTube viewer, researcher, to smack dab in the middle of the exodus. So he's going like 120 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds from behind the computer screen to the exodus. Imagine what that was like for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. This next series of photographs, I have called the X's, and you sent them to me as a set of X's. So I think I've got this correct, everybody. If I don't, I'll post some more. But let me go with these 4 right now. And here we go with the X's, which we have been talking about all night. Now, let's set this up for everybody. What is an X?
The X is a symbolic marker of their territory. So if you're out in your own backyard, in the green belt behind your subdivision, or deep in the forest, and you find X's, okay, they're there. That's saying they're there. But that X is also the Greek symbol for chi, C-H-I, not chi or chai or whatever, not the Asian version, but the Greek symbol chi, which represents Christ, okay? Which is why, back to Saria earlier, saying agathos, which is Greek for God is good, oh, come, you should be positive about living with us. The X, they're a people of faith. They're a people of Christ. The X represents that and represents that they are there. So if you see the X, they're there. They're in your backyard. They're in your green belt. They're in the forest where you're looking around for them.
And these are big trees. I mean, these aren't small. And I've seen numerous. So have you, and some of them have been your photographs. But I've seen numerous pictures where humans aren't doing these arrangements.
No,
they're just too big.
Exactly.
And there's also, I posted the picture that I think is one of the best ones here. I took a picture like this myself, which is the 22-inch footprint with the Puma sock.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a size. I'm 6'9" tall. I played college basketball. I was asked to try out for the New Jersey Nets in the NBA. I turned them down to go after my doctorate degree. So, I have large hands. I have large feet. My feet are size 16. They measure 14 and a half inches long. So I don't have a tiny little itty bitty foot. Yet, when you look at that cast next to my foot, it looks like I'm, have a baby foot. That was a huge footprint. And then when you look at Zor's track, which I didn't send it to you, I'm just telling you, that one's 22 inches long. Zor's tracks are 29 inches long.
Oh, holy crap.
7 inches longer than that track you're looking at.
Do you still have a jump shot?
You know what? Those days have come and gone. But I used to be able to shoot a 3-point shot with about 70% accuracy, which is why the Nets asked me to try out for their team. But that was long ago.
Yeah, I was raised in Indiana, and everybody's got a jump shot.
Yep.
I was just too short. We can talk basketball all night. And now I want to get this next image. Is you've got two others. Let me get this up, everybody, really quick. Next set. You've got some images here of footprints on display, some cast, right?
Yes.
And so we're going to do that. And then you've got another image of 2 tennis shoes and a footprint.
Yes, that one was in the backyard of the house we just left. That's my shoe and Cynthia's shoe, and that's of an adolescent one. That set of cast inside the display box is from the family from the Southern Oregon habituation area. Dad, mom, the adolescent, the child, and the juvenile.
And is that your shoe?
That's my size 16 basketball shoe.
I mean, you've got a big foot, man. Oh, I just said it. I just said it out loud. But what's most interesting in this display, though, and the casts are great, but the one with the toes. What's going on with that? Do I see only 4 toes?
No, there should be 5 toes there. I'm going to have to pull the picture up on my phone, but come on. Almost there. There we are. Okay. And you're talking about the one in the upper right-hand corner?
Yes.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it kind of looks like 4 toes. But when we follow the tracks, there were actually 5 toes.
Okay.
So maybe one of the toes aren't up. But the cool thing about this track is this came from a different research area with Dr. York and I. There had been a fire in the area. The mountains were shut down for 2 months. We were the first ones back up there. There was a set of juvenile tracks coming up a logging road through the base camp area down another logging road. And then there were cougar tracks that looked like they were following the juvenile Bigfoot tracks, and a couple of the cougar tracks were on top of the juvenile tracks. And Dr. York said, it looks like this cougar is stalking this juvenile Sasquatch. Well, we came back 2 weeks later to the same area, and juvenile tracks were coming back the other way up the logging road through the base camp and back down the logging road where it came from 2 weeks earlier. And the cougar tracks were right with it again. And then Dr. York started laughing and he said, I'll be damned. These two have a symbiotic relationship. And I'm going, what do you mean? He said, don't you have cats? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, he's got a cougar.
Yeah.
This cougar is not stalking him for 2 weeks. This cougar is hanging out with him.
Now let's, of course. I mean, why not, right? Okay. The two tennis shoes, obviously, that's going to be your Bigfoot that is inside of that tennis shoe, and that's Cynthia's. Cynthia's tiny foot, and then we've got a Bigfoot in the middle of these 2 feet.
Yes, adolescent. Yes,
I took a picture very similar to this. I'll send these to you. Okay. I didn't make the discovery. Some young friends of mine did, and I'll send that to you later. What are we seeing here in this shot?
This was at our base, or our fire pit area in our backyard. And Cynthia and I had found the track and just decided to take a quick picture to send off to everybody to, it's just our way of showing they're still around, they're still active, they're still here, come check it out. You'll notice that the track isn't much bigger than my size 16 shoe, the yellow shoe there in the picture. That's an adolescent track.
Well,
That's
look at the size of
track.
Look at the size of the heel. Now, how deep, 2 questions, you can answer both at the same time. How deep is that heel section? And 2, you're a big guy, you're almost 7 foot. Can you make the same dent in the ground that this heel did?
The heel was down probably about half an inch, and the answer is no. I could not dent the ground the way this ground was dented.
Yeah, and how do we explain that away? Because I'm 6 foot, I'm over 200 pounds, and I have walked next to Bigfoot tracks that are clearly, 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep in the ground, and I'm not making a dent. I'm not even disturbing the dirt.
Right.
That scares the crap out of me.
It scares the crap out of you? Well,
I mean, it's something very big is able to make an impression when I can't.
Yeah, the adults especially are certainly much bigger than we are and definitely outweigh us if they choose to slow down their vibrational frequency and become more dense in their, physical appearance. So they can go anywhere from a ball of light, an orb, all the way to full physical. You can see them and they, make indentations in the ground or any kind of change in between orb and full physical form, which again sounds completely Looney Tunes. I used to slice and dice those people online years ago, and I have apologized to many people. Others have turned around and treated me the same way until they started experiencing what I was talking about, and they have extended their apologies to me.
As it should be. Let's take our last break right here. Our guest tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson. And that's it. I haven't even invited him for overtime because he doesn't have a choice. We got to keep going. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this short break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at jimmychurchradio.com. This is Jimmy Church, and I invite you to attend the 20th Annual Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo live and in person this September 17th, 18th, and 19th at the LAX Airport Hilton. Connect with exhibitors, community, thought leaders, and friends as we begin to recreate the world. You can also watch the expo from the comfort of your own home. Live stream from the main stage in Los Angeles and from the main stage in London. Truly a global simulcast event broadcast around the world. Live stream and in-person expo tickets are available now. I'll be your host all weekend long from Los Angeles. And on Friday, it's my Ancient Secrets and Earth Mysteries themed segment with James Keenan, Caroline Corey, and William Henry. And on Saturday, Daniel Sheen and I sit down for a one-on-one interview live. We have an amazing lineup of 25 speakers, including Bashar, Gail Thackeray, Kimberly Meredith, Whitley Strieber, Stephen Bassett, Daniel Brinkley, and Lisa Garr. Please visit ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and info. That's ConsciousLifeExpo.com and use that promo code Jimmy for a special discount. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B blend for 15% off of your order today.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30daysfree on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Dr. Matthew Johnson is with us. Heading into overtime. You saw this coming. You knew this was going to happen, so just relax. It is overtime. I know everyone's like, I wonder if they're going to do overtime. The show can't end yet. I wonder if they're going to. We're doing overtime. All right. But I want to talk about Bigfoot and UFOs. And usually, before we get to that, usually this part of the show, Matthew, and I've got something in my throat. Hang on. rivermooncoffee.com. All right. Is usually over time, I like to relax, stretch out a little bit, and have some fun and loosen up a little bit. And we may do that with Bigfoot and UFOs. But before we get to the fun part, I want to circle back and talk about TRILLS briefly and what that acronym means to your research. What is TRILLS? And for everybody, that's TRILS. What's TRILLS, Matthew?
Is an alternative scientific approach to proving the existence of the Bigfoot Forest People or the Janu. Old school talks, when they mention scientific research, they're always talking about DNA. It all boils down to DNA. They want to collect the DNA. They want a dead body. They want the DNA. That's how they view science. Well, that's not the only way to prove the existence of something. TRILLS proves the existence of the Bigfoot Forest People, the Janu, without having to have a dead body or DNA. Essentially, T stands for targeting your research subject. Okay, R is develop a relationship with your research subject. I is for interact with your research subject. L is learn from your research subject. S is share the information you have learned. Okay, you and I have been interacting with each other. I know you exist based on our interactions. You know I exist based on our interactions. We don't have to have each other's DNA to prove our existence. We are forming a online relationship interaction which proves our existence without any blood, any DNA. There are more scientific ways to prove their existence besides having to have a dead body or DNA.
So TRILLS is a future show. I mean, just on that app, we could do a segment on how to target. We could do a segment on how to build a relationship. We could do a segment on how to interact. We could do a segment on how to establish what you have learned. We could do an entire segment on how to share what you have collected with others. That's an entire show in of itself.
Correct. And speaking of show, can I throw out a little teaser?
Yeah, tease.
Okay. So there are multiple Bigfoot shows out there. They've been in existence for a long time. Finding Bigfoot that never finds Bigfoot. Expedition Bigfoot that still is not finding Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor Bigfoot, not finding Bigfoot. But what I will say is they've had some interactions just like I did for the first 10 years. And what I'm also going to say is all three shows have had some paranormal interactions that they don't know how to interpret. They don't know what to do with it. They kind of turn and run away from it. Okay, so here's a little teaser. I am talking with some people who are strongly considering putting together an alternative TV show.
Is it going to be called TRILLS?
Let's just say we won't be trying to find Bigfoot because we have found Bigfoot. We won't be going on expeditions because they're in our backyard, and we don't have to survive because we're friends. And this alternative possibility is going to blow everybody's minds.
That's a show I would watch. It will be
a TV show about Bigfoot unlike any other TV show that exists.
I would watch that show. Keep us posted. Keep us posted. Now, UFO, okay. Now, there are, and I go back and I look at a few pretty significant events in ufology that people lose sight of, and then I look at some significant Bigfoot cases in the past that people have lost sight of. The other element to it, which I think is obvious, I don't know, that UFOs and Bigfoot seem to be connected. If we go to something, historically significant, like Dyatlov Pass. Dyatlov Pass, I don't know if it was Bigfoot. I don't know what killed those hikers. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But prior to the 2 or 3 days leading up to the incident of everybody dying, were UFO sightings in the sky by the locals there and the military. And nobody wants to make this connection. And to me, it's like obvious. Now, am I jumping way too far ahead here, or is there a connection?
I don't think you're jumping too far ahead, but I think what maybe you and others out there don't understand, and once again, I'll bring it up, is that there's a difference between the Tracon, who are in appearance similar to the Bigfoot Forest People, the Janu, except they're a little smaller, they're uglier, they're menacing, they hate humans, and the Tracon, who are in physical flesh and blood form like you and me, they don't have the ability to shapeshift in and out of orb form like the Janu do. They're not benevolent like the Janu are. They're malevolent, okay? They're the ones who are associated with UFOs, and they do the dirty business of some of the alien species in UFOs, like snatching humans, snatching livestock, and other dirty deeds that they have them do. But that is the Tracon. That is not the Janu. That is not the Bigfoot Forest People.
So what is okay, all right, I understand what you just said, but what about the appearance, or what is the connection? UFO seen in the sky, right? Everybody's talking about that. And then later on, there's a Bigfoot sighting, on the same night where...
A Tracon sighting.
Right, okay, a Tracon sighting. And I was always assuming Bigfoot might be stepping off of a craft.
Tracon is stepping off a craft.
So there is okay. Let's stay right there for a second. So when that is, explain the connection then. I don't want to answer. I don't want to put my ideas into this, but you've just blown my mind. Okay, let's step back for a second. What is the connection?
Okay, so the connection, once again, is a long time ago, before we were on this planet, an alien species kidnapped the Tracon from their world and brought them to the earth as slave labor to mine the earth for minerals that they wanted. When they got everything that they wanted from our planet, they took off with their minerals and left the Tracon behind. Okay, they didn't take them back to their home world. And then, in order to continue to get them to do their dirty work, they will come back and offer them food and drink from their home world to get them to cooperate with them to do their bidding. And again, they look like Bigfoot Forest People, kind of, but they're uglier, more menacing, and much more malevolent. They'll kill people. Where the Janu don't have anything to do with UFOs, and Zorth is very adamant about how they have absolutely nothing to do with UFOs.
So that would help explain the appearance and disappearance of the Tracon, Bigfoot.
Sure. But they also hide deep in the wilderness to avoid the human race. And there's a whole lot of wilderness to hide in.
The researchers out there that have made this tie, of Bigfoot and UFOs, that they've made this connection, but the connection isn't with the Janu. The connection is with a physical, biological, actual species.
Yes, that looks like a Bigfoot, but is not a Bigfoot. Their problem is they think I'm crazy. They don't think I know what I'm talking about. There's no such thing as a Bigfoot expert. Well, yeah, there is. There's no such thing as a Bigfoot expert until there's a Bigfoot expert.
Right. Let me jump in. You moved your camera, and I got a humming. Oh, now the humming's gone. Okay, forget it.
So anyway, they don't know that there's the Tracon and the Bigfoot Forest People, aka Janu. They don't know there's two different species. They think it's all one. And they don't buy into orbs and shape-shifting and shimmering images and telepathy. So they think it's all just one species, a dumb giant mountain ape, a descendant of Gigantopithecus, and somehow these dumb giant mountain apes are able to interact with intelligent species that fly craft around the universe.
Now,
and I propose to you, either I'm right and they're wrong, or they're right and I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong.
Okay, speaking of orbs, there's an image here that didn't have an explanation tied to it, but I see orbs, including one on the back of somebody's neck.
Is that when we're walking down the path?
Yeah, can I post this picture real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to post this up because when I saw this, I was blown away. This is not your typical orb pic, everybody. This is something different, and I think it's phenomenal. Okay, the picture's up and posted. Matthew, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 orbs in this picture, going in a straight line, and it looks to me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are on trees.
They are following us as we are walking down the path on our previous property. And when people come over to our property for weekend camping events, people see orbs. People see them in their shimmering images. People are touched while they're in their cots sleeping. Some people, I never guarantee people a healing, but we've had people healed from cancer, heart disease, eye disease. We had one lady who had 3 strokes and was crippled on half her body, and she was completely healed. That was witnessed by 45 people. She was jumping up and down, running up and down the hillside. It was incredible, miraculous. So they're capable of doing all kinds of things. It's amazing.
You know, this is a very remarkable photograph. And one of this isn't your typical orb photo that we've all seen thousands of. I've only seen one orb physically in front of me. Okay, but it was also in Washington, by the way. But they are in a straight line, except for the ones the one on the back of the neck and the 2 bright ones down on. I don't know who's dressed in gray, but it's almost touching his feet. But these are in a perfect straight line, and they're also the same color. Is each one of these a Janu?
Yep. You should see our new home and our new property. I mean, it is amped up. I mean, where the pictures you're looking at now from our previous property, including them in their physical form and tracks, amazing. Now, where we are, we haven't even been there 2 weeks, and we've had them all over the property, the orbs, the shimmering images. Cynthia and I were sitting inside our log home the other night watching TV, and one appeared in the corner of our large lodge-like home, huge shadow, at least 10, 11 feet tall, walking right by, including right in front of our TV set. Got our attention really quick.
Now, there is one last picture. I've got a lot of pictures. We'll save those for another show. But there's another picture I don't know what this is. I kind of think that I do. And it needs an explanation. I'm going to post this right now. And I'm going to call this one Truck Gate. Okay, so yeah. You know what but let me get it posted first, okay?
Okay.
Let me get it posted. And again, I'm only taking a guess what this is a picture of. And now I've got it up. Okay, everybody, hashtag F2B. It is right there. It's called Truck Gate. And you've got a bottle of a can of something, bug spray or spray paint, whatever, for size. You've also got a tape measure laid out on this object. What am I looking at here?
You are, okay, remember I told you they try to leave me evidence, right, to prove that I'm actually interacting with them, right, from footcasts to audio recordings to pictures to videos, right? And so when we first got to Soya, when they led me to Soya, there was a fresh snap, broken branch in the middle of the base camp. And then we're in the base camp and we hear noise up the logging road. So we walk up the logging road and there's this fresh pile of steaming crap that's 3 feet long in between two 29-inch tracks, Zorse tracks. And he mind spoke with me and said, here's some evidence for you. It's a 3-foot turd. That can is a shellac. I dried out the turd and then I sprayed it with shellac to preserve it.
Was it in a straight line like this?
It was not as straight as I have it there and on the tailgate, but it was almost there. I mean, it wasn't. I have it in a display case.
That was my next. You are telepathic. I was going to say, tell me you've got this framed.
I have it in a display case next to a pile of black bear poop for comparison.
This is crazy. This is 3-foot long Bigfoot Janu poop.
It could have been a squirrel if we're going to be objective.
Could have been a squirrel. Could have been a squirrel. I mean, they eat a lot of nuts, right?
Yes.
They do. They do. They eat a lot of nuts. Yes. This is incredible. When was this poop discovery made?
Early 2016.
Have you had another
5 years ago, 5.5 years ago?
Do you have another poop specimen to not bear, but another Janu to compare?
I have come across stuff in the past, but nothing as impressive as that. And that was once again found in between two 29-inch footprints.
Are you working with a laboratory that would say analyze this poop?
So here's the deal. I was in Southern Oregon for a long time doing research, and we contacted the forensic lab for animals, which was in Ashland, Oregon, and they told us unless it's fresh and steaming hot, there's not much they can do with it. Dried poop, they told us, don't bring us any dried poop. We can't get anything out of dried poop. It's got to be fresh, steaming hot. You got to run it right here.
And so do you still have a relationship with them if you did find? No. I can't believe we're talking about steaming piles of poop. But if you did, I mean, if it happened again, would you be able to
I live in Washington, so I'd have to run. I'd have to drive 8 hours to get down there.
Right.
So, bottom line is, no, I'm not going to do that, to be quite honest, because I have way too much evidence that poop is beyond what I want to play with here.
But I got to tell you, this is one of the best pictures I've ever seen. And I kind of knew that that's what that was, but I needed to hear it from you. Yeah. That's an incredible photograph.
There's a replica of that 3-foot turd in a Bigfoot museum in Georgia run by David Becara. So if anyone wants to see the replica, go check out David Becara's Bigfoot Museum in Georgia. I get lots of emails or Facebook PMs. I saw the replica. I saw the 3-foot turd. That thing's huge. Yeah, it is. But more impressive is actually being able to interact with them, see them, people getting healed, listening to them sing. And we host every summer weekend camping events where people can come to our property and spend 2 or 3 nights and have interactions. And that's called science. If you can replicate what I'm talking about, and what I'm talking about has been replicated. Like over in England, you have Gordon Dodds, you have Paul Glover, you have Karen Johnson over there. You have, people in England who are replicating what I've been teaching and getting the same experiences, the orbs, the shimmering images, the mind speak. There's people in Australia doing the same thing, Canada doing the same thing. So if they're able to go around in their various countries or 50 states in our own country and replicate what I'm teaching, that's science, and that's proof, and that's TRILLS right there.
So I look forward to coming out and hanging out with everybody up there and going through the experience. I mean, it if nothing else, it's just a good time with people that have open minds and want to discuss and share information. If anything else happens beyond that, that's the bonus. And I would really enjoy coming up there and hanging out with everybody.
Cynthia and I would love to have you.
Thank you so much. And so really quick, I've got about a minute left with you. What's next? Is there another book? I know you just mentioned the possibility of a TV series, but what's next for you?
Next is just continuing to educate the world in any and every way possible through the social media, through these hosting these weekend camping events, to the possibility of an alternative TV show that reveals the real truth about who the Bigfoot are, and then, listening to Zorth, because he opens up these doors and these opportunities. And so I just have to keep listening and being willing to do my role, my job as the 13, the ambassador, so I'm just there. I'm ready to go. Whatever he wants me to do, I'll do it.
Matthew, thank you so much. Absolutely fascinating, perfect show tonight. This is what I like to do, which is learn and share. See, I'm 2/3 of the way through the TRILLS just doing this show.
There we go. Yes, you are.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matthew. Be safe up there. Enjoy your new home, and we'll circle back and do a show again as soon as we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Janu, and all of the links for it are up in our social media and, of course, over at jimmychurchradio.com. Want to remind everybody what's going on tomorrow night. It is Thursday. It is Fader night with open lines all night long. And really quick, taking Friday off, and then Saturday night, which is September 11th, is the premiere of our film, Extraordinary, The Revelations, at the Pasadena International Film Festival, 6 p.m., red carpet. I'll see everybody out there, and then we're doing a Q&A after the film shows. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2021 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until tomorrow night, Fader night, open lines all night long. I want everybody to be safe. It's time to fade to black.